So welcome back again. We are starting our second session, which is the Q&A session with Miss Julia Clark. She has given us tremendous information, a lot of gold. So I want to encourage you to go back to the first recording. That's going to be in our timeline. There you can listen in to our story, some of the goals she laid as a former athlete. I think
There
anyone
I
listening
am.
has gotten a
Okay.
wealth of information. Yes, you are back. Do you see how Instagram is play with me? Like literally, when we was gonna do it, Instagram was like session over, start over.
Because I know.
But it is an hour timer. That's how I know we had a good show because we used the whole
Yeah.
hour and it's a
Wow.
30-minute show. So I think that's great. That's two parts. So you're gonna have two podcasts on 10th Year Senior Channel. Go girl, go with your bad self. So the first question we had was, I'll leave it anonymous, but they asked to hear maybe your best memory or your best story from when you were a student athlete traveling. Can you remember any?
hmm Yeah, and it's a lot, right? So my best memory, I always remember. So I believe it was my third year, and what took place was that I hurt my ankle the same week that we were supposed to travel, and I was doing crossovers in in practice, and I actually fell and I hurt my ankle really badly. Like I felt like I barely could have walked. So I went in and I said, Coach, I don't think I'm going to be able to try. He always wasn't coaching when he was really riled up with, with shouting in a very nice, aggressive way to make sure I remember what I have to do. Outside of the field, he was very poised. He said, well, let's see how it goes. Let's try to work on it to see if it's possible. Then I told him, I said, I don't think I'd be able to make it on that trip. This is one of my honestly, this is one of my greatest memories. And so I had practice. I messed up my ankle. Then I spoke to Coach Cooper, and then somehow Coach Cooper was just like, "Oh, Miss Roll wants to speak to you." Every I and it wasn't like a welcoming where I would just go into her office, because she always has a very great open door policy. But this time it was just like, "Oh, she's looking for you, so you need to go in there." So I went into her office, and she said, "I heard you don't plan to travel on the weekend." So I said, yeah, I hurt my ankle. So she says, oh, so what's going to happen is that this is a meet that you competed at last year. You did well. You made the medal stands. So you're still going to go, even though you messed up your ankle, and you're still going to compete. And that's it. And so she said it just like that. So I'm like, between my pain and my mindset, I was just like, I guess I gotta go. But the reason why it was so memorable for me is that this was at Emory Riddle. And if anybody knows that when you do either shot put or discus events, yes, you can stand and throw, but for a further distance, you can also glide for the shot put. That means going back of the circle to the front, or you can do a spin for the discus. And the way my ankle felt at the beginning of that week, I felt like I could not do any of them. So the reason why I think that story is most memorable for me is because when we went to Emory Riddle, and we actually competed, and I actually went there, and coach was like, you know what, try your best. The athletic trainer at that time, she wrapped my ankle up, and she did some real nursing on it the night before when we got in. And coach really focused on, he said, you know what, if you feel like you really can't glide on it, do a pushback or do a stand, but give it all you could. And that is memorable because for me in my life now, if life isn't going my way, if I feel like I am down, I can't do something, all I could remember is the words of my coach, was just give it your best you got, even though you're wrapped up, even though you're in pain, even though that, you don't think you can do it. Other person saw that you can. And, that's what Coach Cooper and Kimberly Rose saw within me, that for that particular meet, you were still going, even though I doubted myself and doubted what I could. And, I came up honestly on top for that meet. So that was one of my
Hold
memorable
on, hold
lessons
on. You
because it
fairy tale me just now. Let me clean the airs out. You telling me that you had no intentions to go, the great leadership, the great Sora, as somebody said to you, oh, that's good that you thought that, but you're not going to do that. This is what you're going to do. You traveled.
correct.
They wrap you up. Then they encourage you and say, do your best. And you not only did your best, but you meddled. How dare you
Yeah.
deny how great my Jesus is?
Oh my goodness. Oh, look at my teammate Delron. And he actually mentioned another memory of mine. Oh, at the University of Miami. Oh boy, that was a tremendous look at Kyle. Yeah, that was actually a great memorable experience too when I broke my PR. You know, when when I when we traveled to University of Miami, and the feeling of breaking your personal record. I think I was at 41 meters in the discus at that point, and before I traveled to that particular meet, and it was a time during the season where I knew I could be better and do better, and I went into the ring. We had about 17 or so competitors, but my focus wasn't even winning that day. It was just beating my best. And I came out with a personal best of about 44 meters. And that also stands out because I came out of the ring crying, like tears, literal tears. And I think that was the first time I actually met Candice Eldon. That was the first trip she went on with us with the track and field team, and she just could not figure out what was going on with me. And all of my teammates just like, what is going on? But the feeling of beating a personal record, even though I didn't even make a medal stand, versus the other story I just shared where I won, that was a memorable moment for me because the focus wasn't winning; it was just winning within myself.
But you still medaled.
No, not at that one. I beat my
I
personal
was
record.
getting used.
Yeah,
I was
not
just
at
getting.
that meet.
I was getting used to every story ending with "I still medal."
Majority, but not that one.
Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are at the question and answer period. Again, you can go back to the first interview. I think again she left a lot of gold nuggets inside that interview. This one is of course for you to engage and ask the questions. Any old teammates they could ask. I saw Ashley. Ashley was here. Ash Attack.
Look,
I gotta invite her to talk.
Ashley made it.
We interviewed her when she graduated. Yeah, she was here. So when she graduated, I didn't even know she switched majors, so that like extended
Yeah.
her time at UB. I didn't even know she was still there. I was like, I remember you when I was there, so I was like, you probably gone. And it turns out no, she was right there. So definitely want to interview her. Do you only did track? I thought you did softball as well.
Soccer. So I also did. Yeah, I was a
Soccer.
goalie. Yeah, I did soccer, so I was goalie, and I
Hold on, hold on.
didn't.
I gotta stop. Miss Eldon just locked in. Miss Eldon just locked in. I
Oh
want you to
wow. Oh
repeat some
no,
names.
precious. Oh,
You all for her. I wanted to hear it. Let Miss Eldon know what you gotta say. Go. This all you. We coming back to soccer.
I don't know. Would you mean my story I just shared?
You were saying all this good stuff about Miss Eldon. Miss Eldon here. Go girl. Give me a raise. Go. Just go. Go crazy.
I don't know. It just has to come naturally. But no,
Hey,
but she
I'll
definitely.
paraphrase since you want to be so modest. We got a great thank you, Miss Eldon. She mentioned how you traveled with the team. You were motivational. You helped her. You took her under
Oh
your
yeah.
wing. She talked about the time and she's crying for nothing. And, you know, use my boss lady. Y'all two belong together. Because boss lady used to do that to me sometimes. She just look at you. Miss Eldon, why are you crying? Man, I'm just so happy. Ken broke a record. I'm like, now I understand. It came from you. Julie, she learned unnecessary crying from you. You passed it on. So shout outs to my boss, the lady Miss Eldon, great leader. She allows me to do and be myself. This is one of the greatest jobs I've ever worked, you know, at the university. I literally don't understand why they pay me to be myself. It's crazy. But let's get back
It's
to
nice.
soccer. So you're talking about your time on the soccer team, and this is goal again because many people have never met one of our former female soccer players. So please elaborate on that.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, so I came in for high school. I did track and I started basketball. I didn't like suicides, and I also went into soccer because I love team sports as well, which is very important. And for me, it was a. Oh, sorry, am I back?
I rebuke it. I was rebuking
Can you
your
hear me?
daughter
Oh,
just now. I could hear you. I told the devil,
I
tell the
can't hear
devil to
you.
stop
Hold on.
playing. You can't hear me? I could hear you. You can't hear me.
Oh,
Please hear me. Bring me back. Can
okay,
you
there
hear
you
me?
are. I can hear you now. I'll take out my earpiece. Okay, great. Yeah. What was the question? Where was I?
Soccer,
So,
you were elaborating.
oh,
Well, you
yeah.
blew my mind again. You were a part of the basketball team as well?
Not for COB, just for high school. So I started
Okay.
basketball in high school. I recognized that the suicides was not for me. So I decided that I could shoot, but I'm not a runner. So I stopped and and then
That's
I went
honest.
to soccer. And I had the strength on me to be a defense and to be a goalie, and I did my job with that. And then transitioning into University of Bahamas, still getting used to that. University of Bahamas, I think oh my goodness, what is the soccer coach name? It leaves me right now. But anyway, they had a few games where they needed, a goalie for, and they found out somehow that I did soccer, but that also was short lived at COB because I needed to make sure that I was okay to compete for the reason I was actually getting paid for, which was throwing. So I assisted where I can on the soccer team, which is amazing as well. And a lot of great soccer players, they were there. And one of them, a male soccer player, Addison, he will always stick out in my mind because we graduated the same year, and he was a tremendous male soccer player. I will always rave about him as well. But that was my experience on that team.
It's fair. I need to clip that out and put that on the page. UB, female soccer, did exist. Because
Yeah.
I'm tired of telling students,
Yep.
I think it's a generational thing, but I told a lot of students who I have a chance to mentor, even me, like a key thing to being successful in this day and age is to do what college is teaching you. Research before you speak. And it hurts me sometimes. Some people come so heavy and strong to Miss Rule and be like, come on, why we don't have a female team? And she's giving me that look like, if they only did their research. Shout
Yeah.
outs to all the historians who carry the mantle in these historical pieces for the university.
Wait, so you're saying that there's not a soccer team now?
There is no female soccer team or female basketball team. And I feel it's not even our fault because
What?
of the
And
time.
Gabby for the basketball team? Oh my gosh. That it was such great basketball play. Oh my goodness. Anyway, go ahead, Ren.
Yeah,
There's
the female and, well, the women or
hard.
female end of it, I think it doesn't have primarily everything to do with the university that is ours. I think it comes back to, this is my opinion, of course, because the athletic director, Kimberly Rose, she would have final say. But I feel like it's literally because athletics, as you mentioned, isn't supported holistically in this country. So as you would have young men, as they graduate, going to night league, you don't see that kind of same excitement for females wanting to go to our female
Wow.
night league. Even the
Jeez.
realities abroad, NBA making
Mhm.
millions. Miss Jones, of course, from Grand Bahama, she had to make a decision to switch countries just so she could get and rake in a little bit more money.
Mhm.
And I just feel like it isn't fair. I know a lot of talented athletes. Shout out to even Eureka Woodside. She's on our volleyball team. The girl could play ball. Like, I wish we had
Yeah.
a basketball team. Same thing for Shantice Cooper. She is going into field, so when she watches this, I hope she goes and find you and Sasha to really get some good training. Um,
Yeah.
Even though, I would recommend you over Sasha just because it's Sasha. But then Sasha went to sock. What are you talking about? I have to go with
But
Sasha.
Sasha's the
Sorry,
go-to
I have to
though.
throw you
She
away.
she was a really great thrower. She was
I know.
she
I
she
totally agree
was
with
she
you. I
was
don't know
one
what I
that I
was
looked
thinking.
up to.
I don't know what I was thinking. Shane, I apologize. That's why Shane is telling me this when it comes to sock. I slit some down, Shane. Sorry for that. No, Sasha all the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, SOC ever break up, that's it. You know, the whole Nassau.
Yeah.
Don't worry about COVID. No, if the SOC alliance ever stop, this whole place stop.
Yeah, that's a
People
problem.
understand it. They don't go around believing in comments. Anyway, that's a little commercial break. So we're waiting on questions for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time again. We give about two. Thank you, Shane. Thank you. We give about 2 minutes for any questions you may have. You can leave it in the question section or in the comments. That's why you kind of see us just filling in with a little bit of babble. But as you come up with questions, we'll take them. I want to ask you, what would you say was your number one failure? I want to be, that resume person, that resume interview person. Can you talk about a challenge or a time you felt that, sad to say, you failed as an athlete, and probably talk about overcoming it if you did?
Yeah. So for me, failure was always doubting myself, right? I mean, I'm quick to open my mouth and speak confidently, but deep down inside, a lot of times I had doubts. And like I said, I was a small thrower. My stature was not as big as the other throwers, but the way I overcame that was making sure I had teammates around me that were always encouraging. Coach Cooper, always encouraging. Maybe on the rough side, but also encouraging. Kimberly Rule, she spoke to me with a voice of sternness, but also much of love, right?
With all due
And
respect, as long as this is my show, we do not talk positive about Ms. Rule. That's just something. That's a continuous gag on every show. Any of that fluffing her up, not on this show.
oh yeah, no, she's rough. She definitely can put it on you for sure.
That's what I'm
But
talking
no,
about. Talk about her negatively.
yeah, and and especially I would say, Candice Eldon in terms of being exposed to her. But my self-doubt was I would even call it a failure because that was something I struggled with internally. That was something that I knew every time I went in the gym, I wanted to better my weights, I wanted to better my distance. But there was always something gnawing at me to say, Julie, you can't do this. But every time I went to practice and I actually put on my zone mindset, because, Beyonce talks about, her alter ego, and I had to really find that person for me to say, you know what?
What's your name?
I don't have a name, but I just wanted to reference it. I don't have a name for it. But no,
Pedro.
No, I don't have a name for it, but I had to step
for you. When you stepped there in your zone, you looked at the short put. Pedro, that's your character.
I liked how you snort just now, Ren. That's pretty. Make sure you get that on tape too. But yeah, I think for me that was always something that I struggled with daily. But I had to remember that persons believed in me around me, and that's really what helped me move through. So that's it. My self-doubt was a big failure for me, but the way I overcame it was with the help of those around.
Somebody's saying, remember when you thought you couldn't bench 2 plates at 25 and you did. Let's hear about that.
Yeah. So like I said, for Coach Cooper, his program was really heavy. Like, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows about gym weights, but when we talk about plates, we're talking about 45 plates and 2 plates on each side. So Delron might be typing 2 plates, but it's 2 plates on each side. So 245, whoever the mathematicians are in the room, 245s on one side.
180. Plus the bar is 45 by itself, right?
The bar is 45. So you're looking at over. So at least over 225.
We have to have a moment. Sasha, you saw how good I was with plates. You thought I wasn't in the gym, Sasha. The reason why I could do that up here, and I know the bar. Come on, man. Anyway, Julie, continue. Before I start.
Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that, but yeah, and 275. Thanks, Kyle. You're on it. Yeah, 275. So that was something where even as I went under certain weights, and I knew I needed to grow in terms of better weights or heavier weights, it was a focus of, can I really do it? And my teammates are on the line now, and it's a matter of making sure you have a good spotter and persons in the gym, you know, and normally sometimes the gym is cleared out for us, especially if it's an early morning or a day where persons aren't on campus. We got
Take a pin.
loud
Let's
in
put a
there.
pin there. Which gym? Are you talking about the one above the
Yeah,
sub or the old gym?
no, the new gym by the court, by basketball
Okay.
court.
No, I just wanted to get my mind framed there.
Yeah. Oh no, that gym had some old heavyweights in there. Like that. Anyway, that's a different level of me being scared going in there from high school. But they had some really heavyweights in there too. But yeah, I mean 275, and you know that's on bench press, and you know other equipments like deadlifts too. You know was a doubt for me because we did a lot of deadlifts and heavy at that. So and squatting is was important for us, and leg press where we had where we had had at least 6 plates on each side. You know, I remember those days. So I had 9 plates on each side at one point. But squats looking at 3 plates on each side. Yeah, so it's crazy.
We have a next question. What are the 3 attributes athletes have which make them excellent leaders? Great question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think 3 attributes would be: one, discipline, and two, drive, and three, just hunger. I would put it for those three. And the reason why I say discipline, drive, and hunger is that in order for an athlete to be focused on bettering themselves, they have to figure out their routine. You know, if you're lifting 5 pounds one day, you know, you need to be up to 10 pounds or whatever you're doing. If you want your focus to be better, you want to be able to focus on aspects of discipline. That's how you get better. That's how you know where your weaknesses are. Not even just weaknesses, but where you start off at. And then secondly, you talk about your drive. Your drive has to be important to you. You know, not everybody will desire the same thing as you, but figure out your why you're doing this particular sport, or why you're doing this particular career or this particular studies. And with that, I think that's what sets sets the focus for an athlete, or to becoming a great leader, or even just a great athlete or a great student or in society.
How next question. How has your training mentality helped you transition to, I want to add something to it, transition to the
Mhm.
real world and the financial world?
The real world and the financial world. Oh, just going in the focus zone, knowing that I have something to offer, and figuring out how. And also, it's very funny, two of my teammates were also two of my were fellow employees, so this is a true story. Being able to know your worth and knowing when you should leave if your worth is not given to you, and finding
Oh,
out the next place to get your worth. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
because you
I'm
brought
just
me
gonna
down.
leave it
I
like
started
that
rubbing
right
my
now.
knee, and I know it ain't raining outside. I was like, I want to hear
I'm just gonna leave it like that right now, because the mentality when you know you are capable of doing something physically or academically, and translating that into the work world now, you begin to sit differently. You begin to strategize. You begin to think on a different level to say, hey, I know what it is to look at the qualifying marks for a Carifta team, for youth, for World Youth Team, where I mentioned where I went to Strava in my first in 2007 with the Cayman Islands trip. And you really begin to say, well, if I looked at the qualifying mark when I was in grade 11 and I needed to throw 10 meters or 38 meters in discus, and I didn't have to pay bills back then. It recharges your mentality to say, I'm now an adult. I now have things to take care of, things to pay for, bills, a car to maintain, a home to maintain. why should I be sitting on someone's job that's not giving me my personal qualifying pay
Whoa.
or my personal qualifying and what you call it, benefits or something like that, you know? So that's just what it is for me. And then you just got to go and search the market for something else.
That's real right there. Ladies and gentlemen, proud graduate of the College of the Bahamas, now University of the Bahamas. She still is in training. She hasn't been saying go mangoes after the real nuggets, but we could train her. But I want to, just in respect of time, I don't see any more questions. I don't think I missed any. So I want to just ask any final words of wisdom or any final thing you want to say before we put an end to the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, my final words of wisdom, especially for any students, any, athletes that are on the line or that may actually see it, or any person, anybody in general, is to just stay the course. Stay committed to your small wins, whether it's in track and field, whether it's in the classroom or on your job. Find out what you are doing now that is well, what you're doing that focuses on bettering you, and also remembering that life isn't going to be easy all the time. You are going to have situations that's going to press you. You're going to go through times that's going to be a struggle for you, but stay the course. You're going to have losses in life, and for me, I can tell you, after I graduated from 2013, a lot has happened. I was able to have transition into the work world for 5 years at a job, and during that time I lost my mother. I also knew that within me I needed to find a new job, and joining Toastmasters, it's so much things that you have to know that within yourself you always have to stay the course. You always have to. So that's my final words of encouragement.
I think that's it. You're supposed to say something afterward.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're supposed to say something. Go something.
Oh, go Mingos!
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's our show for the day. It's my pleasure. My name is Ren. I was your host, brought to you from the University of the Bahamas Athletics and, of course, University of the Bahamas Office of University Relations. Miss Clark, a proud alumna of the institution, I thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on your success in marriage, in your career, and, of course, in being the district representative, for District F of your Toastmasters. You're doing tremendous things. The university is proud of you. Miss Eldon, of course, logged in. She's proud of you. She's saying go Mingos. That's why you got to say it, girl. Got to say it. But it's my pleasure again. My name is Ren. And I want to encourage all of you. You can go on the timeline. You can listen to this. You can pick out of it. This is a lot of gold that she gave here. And you can tune in at a later time to hear more from Ms. Clark on 10th year seniors as we take her to the world and abroad. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks. All right. All right.
See you later.